Well, one of you, welcome to another episode of our show. And this time we're going to focus on what happened in, like, what Jean Paul told me before we go on air is like impacts like WrestleMania, like this biggest pay per view, Bound for Glory 2022. A show that, like, pretty good results. It gave us a lot of good moments. I will say, solid for the most part. Like Jean Paul mentioned, like the women's match is going to be like the one that, like, we like the most. One return that, like, for Impact Zone. So, Paul, let's talk about this. Impact is trying to, like, gain more recognition, more eyes, more interest in their product. So did they do it this time or no?
Yeah, I mean, the one thing, to go back, the women's match wasn't my favorite. I just want to state that right now. It was definitely, it was up there. It was good. I did enjoy it, but not my favorite. Hats off to Jordynne, Grace, and Slamovich. But no, I mean, the one thing I want to say right off the top about Impact, and this is no hate on them, because I want them to succeed. I, like a lot of people on their roster, but you see this show, they touted the biggest, this is our biggest show of the year. Over half the arena's blacked out because it's empty. They don't have the crowd there. And just, this doesn't feel special because a lot of these matches are built up. And besides maybe one or two of them, none of them really feel like, is this really an end of the show or at like a biggest pay-per-view of the year, caliber match? No, not really. A lot of these didn't feel like that. I felt like they just threw it together, and next week, they'll just continue on the course. And that's a shame because I think they do have the talent. So they just need, somebody who's really going to book good, solid storylines that can, end and, see the conclusion at a big pay-per-view like this. But, I just want to say that off the top, get that off there, so I'm not saying it throughout the whole show.
I don't know how you feel about it, but when they take place on a Friday, I know it takes away a lot of, like, the people that could potentially watch it. Because, for example, SmackDown is on, then we have Rampage on, we have a Battle of the Belts for AEW, so we have...
Yeah, I mean, that definitely hurts the numbers, but see, if you go back to what I previously said, and just if you book something that's super legit, like Josh Alexander, and you built up, a heel, I don't want to say moose again, but, somebody who's super credible.
Like, yes.
Somebody who's super credible that you go, you know what? Maybe, do I want to see Sheamus and Walter again? Or do I want to see Josh Alexander against, whoever, even though that's on later than SmackDown? Whatever. You weigh your pros and cons. Which show do I want to watch? But with most of the matches, and I think to the general wrestling fans, pretty much all the matches, and again, this isn't a shot at Impact. This is just, it is what it is. When you look at the numbers, most of the people, none of them really tuned into Impact. They probably watched either SmackDown or AEW.
They have, like you said, like the core fans, but it's like what, 30, 40,000 out of nationwide. So that's still a lot, and that's a very minimal number. It's a very small number in comparison. With like at least the AEW people and of course WWE. But let's start right away. Thank you so very much for being with us. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, and put a comment.
But with that being said, though, we are fans of Impact Wrestling. We are going to cover it. So like you said, let's get started.
We love we are fans of wrestling. We support it. Like Paul always says, like we want the shows to be legit, to be booked in a way that like it ties us to watch every single show. That ties us like the booking, the resolution in the matches, all of that. So like the show opened with like Dirty Dango Fandango, like he's like kind of retired from wrestling, came back to wrestling. He's now in Impact because he responded. Brian Myers, the digital champion, he responded his challenge. They got a pretty good match. Fandango, at least he was always a decent wrestler. Remember the days with Tyler Breeze, with Breezango and all of that. And Brian Myers is a guy that like I think that like they could have used him a little better. But at least being the champion or the digital or the champion, I think he does decent with that. He's a heel and all of that, Paul.
Yeah, I mean, the digital media championship, I like Brian Myers, so I'm glad he has gold. But to me, it's not really a title that's real. I mean, let's be honest here. It's not like he was X Division champ, okay, that's one thing. That's, in WWE, Intercontinental champ, AEW, TNT champ, whatever. That's an actual belt that has something. This is just a belt for you have a social media presence. To me, what is that? That really doesn't have to do too much with wrestling. But I mean, the match was good. Obviously these guys were friends a long time, working together in WWE. They had a good match. Brian Myers goes over. The right call here. Like I said, keep promoting him. I want to see better stuff. Either he should go after, something. But again, these guys, the whole booking is just kind of a mess. I feel like there's just, things are all over the place. They really need to kind of just barrel down the hatches and go back to just, let's book things that make sense, easy to follow, stuff like that. Get guys over.
Yeah, I want to say like that is, and also like you said, I mean, the character I think is solid because he's annoying. He believes that like he's the best thing ever, but like they need to give me like guys that like are gonna be able to go to that Fandango or like Dirty Dango, whatever. Like it's okay, but like he's not believable yet. I mean, we'll see what they do with the guy. We'll see what's the extent of like he's gonna like be mid card and all of that. But at least Brand Myers is a good addition to the show. Like I said, if he could actually have a program to maybe like the main title, that would be different. But that was like the first match. That was actually before the pay-per-view. And now let's go with like the first one, and that was like for the X Division Championship. This was like really good because like I like Mikey Bailey and Frankie Kazarian. This Kazarian is another Impact, like one of the veterans, and him going over in this match. I don't know if it was the right move. Because I think Mike, if you want to establish him as like the guy, but I mean they did it to probably bring some nostalgia here, Paul.
Yeah, and I mean they put on a good match, and like I said, the whole Brian Myers thing that was pre-show again. After this I'll move on, I promise. But you want to get that title over, you want to get him over. Again, pre-show don't get nobody over.
Yes, it's true.
That's when people are buying popcorn. That's when people are smoking in the parking lot. That's when people are doing whatever. They're not caring about what's going on at 7:30. They, 8 o'clock. They're gonna care about. But no, moving on. This was a great match because Kazarian showed he can still go. He shows again why AEW's failing because they're not focusing on guys who can wrestle,
like this guy,
guys who are good. You put this on AEW, the fans will get into it. This was a great match again. That's why I said I hate that. When I watch this, I see a crowd of, it looks like an NXT taping, and this is supposed to be their WrestleMania. That hurts. That sucks. For this company, I don't want to see that, but they put on a great match. I mean, lots of stuff. Off the top rope. I mean, kickouts, all this stuff. Again, Kazarian. Speedball Mike Bailey. They showed you that Impact has the stars. They can go, and we have a new X Division champ. Is this going to be a short-term thing? Maybe play hot potato like this. Hey, give Kazarian show that the old guy can still do it. I mean, we got to wait and see. Hopefully they do something good here. But like you said, Mike Bailey has a future in wrestling, I think.
Well, yeah, no, absolutely. Like we saw him also like in the GCW. He also has had some matches there, and he beat Trey Miguel for the championship. He is solid. Like you said, maybe because the path right now is kind of weird because WWE, some people from Impact rather go to AEW, and then is when they get lost in the shuffle because like they pretty much same species as Ricky Starks, same type of like high flyer, but a good wrestler.
Yeah, I mean his whole thing, he would in WWE, he would definitely be like a cruiserweight type mid-card guy. There's no, because of his size, but I mean, hey, that's how he gets over, I think.
Exactly. And they're good. They put good matches. They make you excited. The show is like based on those things. So good stuff on that. But Kazarian one more time showing that I don't remember, the thing with like Christopher Daniels, with Scorpio, all of that. Like, I mean, he's still good and he can still go, like you said. But let's go to the next one. And this is like for the tag team of the Knockouts, and that's like Deona Purazzo and going with like against Taya Valkyrie, Jessica. They're the Dead Dollz. That was their name, and also Chelsea Green. What did you think about this? Because Taya for me is a little lost here. I don't know why they put it with like Jessica and also Rosemary. And I think Deonna and Chelsea are going to take a break from Impact from a little bit. Deonna is going to get married soon. So there you go.
Yeah, I mean, this is, again, what I said before the booking. Things don't make sense. Don't you really want to get these two over as, Vex or whatever they call themselves? Like you said, okay, if Deonna is going to go get married, they're going to split them off. I'm sorry, but, not to put the cart before the horse and go to the end of the match, but have Deonna take the pin.
Yeah.
If Chelsea Green is going to be the woman who's going to stay there and keep wrestling on your program, and Deonna's going to be the one who leaves, why was Chelsea Green pinned?
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't, so that don't make sense from that perspective. But I mean, again, this team is thrown together and you see them. It's like, is it Rosemary?
Taya Valkyrie and Jessica.
Yeah, it was Jessica. Excuse me. Was it Jessica's fault that they lost before with Rosemary and all that, and it's like, now she's part of the team, and it seems like it's just thrown together, and it's just, again, nothing is serious. And maybe that's why I really liked, the other two women's matches that we saw, because there was a lot more seriousness
and there was more
involved
story
in
to
them.
tell.
And it was and it was more this was just, again, this is like the Impact, the wedding, where who shot him, and the wrestle house and all that. That's just how this feels.
Yeah.
And Taya Valkyrie, to me, is main event. She could be serious and put on good stuff. I don't know why she lets herself be booked with this kind of stuff. Again, that's what they need, somebody to book this show serious. But they're the new tag champs, and again,
the one thing,
I
for
don't know.
example, Paul, is like, if you allow me to say this really quick, like Jessica, at least they're trying to create a new character based on the same people that they have. Because Impact, I don't know if they have like a lot of people that they can resource it. Like, okay, we're gonna book you better, we're gonna promote you now, and then we're gonna put the other ones on the shelf for a little bit. So like, it's like, why don't we just regroup?
The only
Why don't we
thing
just repackage you in this new girl. But like, I mean, the same power and the same strategy. And there was like a promo before the pay-per-view weeks ago. It's like May. They put these two together, and then because Rosemary was gonna go originally with like Taya, but it's like, oh, are you okay with Jessica filling in for you? She's like, yeah, that's fine, and all of that. So Gail Kim put that together. We'll see. I mean, now
I have
they
no
don't have
problem.
Madison Rayne, they don't have Tennille, so there you go. Like, I mean, they
I have
need
no
more
problem with repackaging and pushing new people and doing this and that. If you have a good talent, but your Knockouts champion looks like the fucking Ultimate Warrior, all right? And she's a pretty good wrestler. So if you book like a Chelsea Green or a Deonna Purazzo versus her, I'm not going to believe it as much as like a Jessica against her. So why is she in this tag division when she should be, if you're going to repackage somebody and try to give them a new push, put them in a singles division, because
and
that's
make
a more
her like the monster.
Because it don't even have to be a monster. She can still be a baby face like this, because Jordynne Grace is kind of cocky. She can kind of pull off that arrogant champion, and here's the baby face. Even though she's big, she's still the baby face and maybe even the underdog because of how strong Jordynne Grace is. So we're getting off topic, but that's just, again, the booking. That's my thing with Impact.
The booking is the one thing that makes Impact suffer. And now you're not the only one that has said that. A lot of people say, the stars are there, you have the materials, you have everything, but when you start putting the stuff together, like, sometimes it works, but most of the times does not work. Next time where they're going to have a pay-per-view is going to be Friday the 13th, and that is going to be in 2023, January, Atlanta. It's going to be a Hard to Kill. We'll be there, Robrig also. We always, like to cover every single thing wrestling-wise, so be there with us for that, family. You said, in this pay-per-view in particular, we had two matches that they have more story to it and a lot of seriousness and women that could go. This one was the first one, Mickie James putting her career on the line against Mia Yim. We know that Mia Yim actually, after this, she's a free agent. She stopped, like, her contract is over with Impact. So we kind of knew that, like, she was going to just, do the job for Mickie James, and Mickie gets the win. She's still active as a wrestler. Good match, though, and hopefully Mia Yim, maybe she goes back to WWE. Do you see that happening, Paul, because of Triple H? Or maybe she just joins AEW to be with her man, Keith Lee?
I mean, she was used pretty good in NXT up until the point, and or you could just say WWE in general, up until the point that she got called into that shitty group, whatever that was called.
Retribution, yes.
Retribution, yes, thank you. But I mean, she could go, if she's smart, she's going to go there because they're going to pay her more money. Obviously, they can pay her more money. Look at what the business WWE does. Look at how Impact couldn't fill this arena. So obviously, they can pay her more money. And she could go to AEW, maybe make the same money, but that's a shitty division. That's a drama central. Everybody's fighting everybody, punching everybody, shooting on everybody, and interviews and stuff. So no, to me, if she's going to go anywhere, it should be to WWE. This match was good. You love to see hardcore country. She's like fine wine. She gets better every year. And Mickie James is she's on this kind of Ric Flair retirement thing. I'm going to keep wrestling till I lose, and I'm going after the championship. Maybe she's the next one to, not saying the next feud for Jordynne Grace, but that's her progression, and maybe that's where she's going to be hanging up the cowboy hat for one last time when she loses to Jordynne Grace, or maybe she'll beat her. Who knows? We got to wait and see.
Maybe like she wins and then she drops, she relinquishes. That could be something. Yeah, that could be a great story also. Very, absolutely right. I like it. So, Paul, let's moving on to like the tag team championship match. We got to see, the Kingdom. These guys like Mac Tavern and also Mike Bennett, Maria Kanellis. These guys from like Honor No More. going against the Motor City Machine Guns, and this was a great match. Again, a lot of action, but in the end, Paul, like Honor No More. At least they're trying to. They're Ring of Honor originals. They're not kind of like the Ring of Honor that Tony Khan is trying to present us. So this was at least good for me. I would like to see the Motor City Machine Guns just because of nostalgia and everything. But like here, at least to prolong the story, I think they did a good call here.
Yeah, and kind of with what we saw in the main event, because that was the big kind of, I guess you would say, theme of the pay-per-view. And that's why not only, besides the fact that all four of these guys are amazing workers. Matt Taven, I like the stuff. Mike Bennett, I knew was a good worker, just maybe like the charisma. That's why he has the hot wife.
Yes.
But, Taven, man, he really got over with me in this match. That guy's a great wrestler. And, the guy deserves to be a champion of some point, or of some sort. So I'm glad that they're the tag team champions. And this match was good. They're heels. They cheated to win. And like I said, the Kingdom or the Honor No More, the Ring of Honor originals, whatever, them versus the Impact guys was still kind of the overarching theme with Eddie Edwards and Josh Alexander in the main event.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, this was a great match. I don't want to say that this is probably tied with the women's match for my second favorite, I would say. For the whole show. This match was really good.
You said it, like they're a good tag team because Tavern is the guy, the talker. He can do everything and kind of like the muscle, like the guy that like prolongs the match a little bit. He just, like you said,
and like Bennett, great worker, great wrestler. But it's one of those things where you're not going to pay to see him in the main event. But man, he's really good.
Oh yeah, exactly.
As a wrestler.
No, I agree with you. So now let's go to like the next one. This one was like a lot of people wanted to see this. Like who will be the last one entering? They called you Shadow Gauntlet. Bobby Fish was right there, and you said like the one thing that, and I agree with you. Once they make it intergender, it becomes like because aside of Jordynne Grace, you don't believe anybody else can go around with all these guys. We get to see
Tessa Blanchard,
like Callahan, Moose. We get to see also Heath, and like I said, we were waiting who was going to be the surprise entrance on this. Tell me a little bit about this.
Well, I was just going to say, dude, for the women, it's just Tessa Blanchard was a stretch, but okay, whatever. Jordynne Grace, it makes sense because look at her. And maybe Jessica, and because Anaya Jax, you believe she could beat up a bunch of the men. Because if a woman is 5'11" or bigger, and she's close to 300 pounds, okay, yeah, you can believe her beating up a man. Otherwise, it's unbelievable. You saw that Tasha Steelz was in this thing. Like, are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah,
I'm sorry. That she should get in the ring and get clotheslined and be concussed and broken in half. If this is because again, that's what takes Impact out of it. And you have who's the Mark announcer who used to be on WWE?
Tom Phillips.
He's we do the best intergender wrestling. To me, that kills the business and it kills your credibility. Again, unless it's a Jordynne Grace or a Nia Jax, a monster, a big, strong, powerful
somebody that,
woman.
like you said, a woman that has enough power to go
no
against
shot,
the guy.
No shot at Tasha Steelz in the women's division. But really, I mean, I forget the one woman in there against PCO, but she's punching PCO and clotheslined him and took him down. I mean, she was in there, and they did a spot with Cardona where they did a 3D and she headbutted him, and then Bully Ray kissed her, and then get the tables and stuff. So this was all just for the marks, for the people that we pop for the things that go on, and for the moments. We don't actually care about anything credibility and stuff that makes sense. So eventually, to trim the fat, to get to the end of this thing, the meat of the matter, this was
good also, Paul, right? Like, see, like an Impact, like kind of like back in the day.
Yeah, but again, that's
Tommy.
Like I said, no offense for you, if you like this, that's good, and for me, but it's just again. The whole battle royal was just a moment for the marks. Oh, here's an ECW moment. We popped for that. Oh, they did the was up and the headbutt, and then Devon get the tables. Except it's not Devon; it's a hot blonde girl. It's not a black guy with a cut up forehead. So, it's I don't know. This wasn't for me. As soon as the intergender thing, it took me out of it. Who's Deonna's fiance? What was that? Was
Steve Macklin, right here. The last one, the guy that was.
So I mean, to me, I thought okay. Legit, Bully Ray's gonna put Macklin over. Macklin and Alexander, man, that's two Impact guys. Because Macklin wasn't really used in WWE worth a shit. So you think, okay, Bully Ray goes over, To me, who gives a shit? He has a feud with is having a feud with Cardona. As soon as Cardona came in, boom, boom, boom. They should have brawled a little bit, this and that. They should have double clothesline, took each other both out of it, continued the feud. He has no reason winning this because this does nothing to promote. Nobody will go, oh my God, I need to buy
new guys.
This, yeah, exactly. It doesn't promote new guys, and nobody will go, oh my God, I need to buy Impact's pay-per-view to see Bully Ray challenge Josh Alexander.
Yeah. No, and I agree with you. If anything, they should have been Macklin, because Macklin has been winning matches. Like, remember when we talked about like 2 weeks ago when they did Victory Road, he beat Moose and Sami Callihan in the death match, like hard wire match that they did. He beat them both. So that's
but again, that's what Impact is doing, because unfortunately that's all they can grasp onto. Oh, they'll mention AJ Styles as much as they can or anything to just get popularity off the old days, because unfortunately their booking is so bad now. You hear that common thread? The booking is so bad. That's a big trend here, but that's what's so bad, that they just can't promote the new stars, that they just need to rely off this nostalgia. Why they have the ECW reunion, why Bully Ray wins this, why they still have to rely on this, is because they can't promote the new guys, and that's a shame. But I mean, Bully Ray wins it, so obviously he's going after Josh Alexander, and we'll talk about that more in the main event.
That in just a little bit, like you said, Paul, but like before we go to do that, Impact has their own Hall of Fame. Raven, why wouldn't? Raven is just a guy.
Now,
that,
for nostalgia, this is fine. This is when you do the nostalgia, the Hall of Fame. This all makes sense. Continue.
Yes, yeah, and he did really good for Impact. Like, he introduced a lot of like dead matches, hard wire, like tables, all of that. Like, he introduced his own versions of like lethal matches, like not like WWE, but like he did a lot for like Impact. And even as a producer, I think he was backstage at some point. And it was really cool. Like you said, he has like a speech. He talks about all the friends, they know who you are. But most of all, Tommy Dreamer. And our feud is going to end today. I think they teased Tommy Dreamer. That was really a cool spot.
And the crowd was laughing. I popped for that. That was right before the show. He put over Dreamer. They hugged. Boom. Even flow DDT. He did the pose. Quote the Raven Nevermore. Like you said, well deserving to be in the Impact Hall of Fame. So this was good. But like you said, some of the guys who he wrestled, man, they're still in the ring trying to be in the main event and trying to be over, and it's why?
I agree with you. Like, you're not going to be bullies. Like, come on, you even have your own podcast. Really? You have to stop doing that to just be kind of like, make me believe that like you're back in.
I have no problem with him coming back, going on another run, this and that, but put the guys over. If he beats Josh Alexander,
and we're going back 10 years. You know what I mean?
That's like Hogan. That's Hogan coming back.
Yeah, that's Hogan booking. And I mean, Bully Ray is known for like being like kind of like that. That's why they split up with Devon, because they had like arguments about Devon is more like, let's get back. It's all legit. We've been life has been legit to us, and now it's like no. It's still Hogan brother, Hogan.
That booking doesn't work for me, brother.
That booking doesn't work for me. I won't like lose to him. So there you go. So Paul, let's go about like you said, like probably the best match in the show. There you go. Jordynne Grace defending the Knockouts Championship against Masha Islamovitch. Streak against title. Jordynne is looking like the best, muscle-wise. Like, I think her wrestling ability is at the top of the game right now. Remember the match she had with Deona two years ago? Now it's even better. They're actually booking her like as a complete like a monster, secure of herself, confident. I like this. It's a very good match. And I mean, for Masha, the streak, but again, like she can recover and maybe win the championship later.
Yeah, but I mean, this is what you build a monster up for. Again, this is what kind of sucks, because why there's no big territories or just companies that let talent, hop from one to the other. Because Slamovich, okay, she went on a run here, built up the streak. She challenged for the championship. She lost. Now she should go away for a while, for 6 months, wrestle in another company, maybe become their champ and, then drop the belt or, whatever, then before she comes back to Impact. Because like you said, you built this up, but then the people stay here, and because of the booking, they become stale and they don't mean anything, and they just become in useless tag teams. But, hopefully that doesn't happen. This match was great. Jordynne Grace, the body of work that she's put in, the matches she's done, the physique that she has, you have to applaud her for that. Great wrestler. The stuff she lays in is stiff,
Yes.
but she also takes a beating too. She also, it's probably it's like a thing like Sheamus and Walter. Hey, you like to hit people, well, I like to get hit, and I like to hit people too. So hey, let's put on a good match. We're not going to pussyfoot around like a Sammy Guevara. We're actually going to lay it
That's
in there.
right.
But this was a great match. Muscle busters. She hit the Grace driver, all this stuff. Slamovich kicked out of a lot of stuff. And a lot of false finishes. You really thought, hey, maybe the title's going to change hands here, but she did a Grace driver, from the second rope. 1, 2, 3. Great stuff here. Jordynne Grace is still the champ. And to me, like I said, the next really big feud, I think, for her would probably be Mickie James. I think you're eventually going to do that. Maybe not, again, her next feud, but the next really big feud that I think the
big
fans will care
important
about.
feud, yeah. The biggest program. And you can easily go career against the title.
Well, that's what it will be, because Mickie says, next time I lose, it's over. It's done. So, she could say, the underdog, the veteran going against this young monster champion. To me, it would be great. Even if she loses to Jordynne Grace, I still think they'll have a fantastic match. But was
absolutely.
definitely this in the tag match.
Really
This in the tag match, I think we're tied for probably second or even match of the night. These were good, but the main event was great too. The main event was
I think they had like
match.
a pretty good chemistry, and like I said, Jordynne is probably at the top of the game right now. And for example, for Deona, for her, what's next is just, hey, you need to go WWE, because again, you already done everything that you can do on Impact. They were already tag team champions. They were already knockout champions. Like Jordynne is like 2 times.
See, and that's the thing. There needs to be more, and maybe the reason that they don't do this is because so many people, and it's all because of rights and merchandise and stuff. Because if you only sign, my whole point is I wish somebody and companies would just sign people to 1-year deals. So then you have a 1-year run, then you can go work in another company for another year. Because a year is a long enough time. We like you get over, but then you go away maybe for a year, you come back, hey, we like you again, but 3 years, 5 years, sometimes people
or
get
whatever,
stale.
Like you said, whatever unfinished business you have.
Yeah,
with
but
titles and feuds.
Yeah, but I'm sure if you sign people to a 1-year deal, by the time you make T-shirts and merchandise and this and that for them, that 1 year could be over. So that's probably why they sign them to long-term deals, and just so competition can't get them. But I don't know, it hurts the business. I think sometimes people get stale. But yeah,
absolutely.
My whole point is Deona is one of their top stars. So I don't think they want to see her go, but they might not have a choice.
And the only thing is, like, when with this we can move on. It's like, what's there for me to do? You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what I mean. They might not have a choice. She might be like, well, there's nothing for me here, and you guys can't pay me what I think I deserve. And WWE and Tony Khan, they're going to pay me more, so I'm going to go talk to them.
And it does that, and it's also because of like in goals. I've already been champion so many times. I beat pretty much everybody in the roster throughout the whole year. Like I've been in AAA, I've been in AEW
now,
defending
the only thing, I'll play devil's advocate to that, and like you said, that we can move on here, is if her husband still stays in Impact, do you think she'd want to leave?
She'll stay for it's kind of like you said, like they do a lot like for the wrestlers. So there you go. A good way to like move on to the next, and that's the main event. Josh Alexander against Eddie Edwards. To me, weak main event just because Eddie Edwards has been champion before, but like you said, they need a big guy like Moose. At some point, it should have been somebody different. Like I said, it should have been Macklin. For me, it should have been just Macklin, just because of like the momentum that he had beating Sami Callihan and Moose. But I guess, the storyline, like you said, the Honor No More and all of that. Josh Alexander is just such a great champion, but it's not that he looks weak. It's just that like the feuds are not making him better. That's the only thing that I can tell you, at least for me, with Eddie Edwards. You can tell me what you felt, but like that's my take on that.
From bell to bell, the match was awesome. Now maybe the build, the presentation, everything like that, because Eddie Edwards is a fantastic wrestler. Yes. Whether you think he's main event, whether you think he should be on the WrestleMania poster, or in the the opening match, in a gym somewhere, whatever you think, the guy can wrestle. Yes. I don't think that's debatable. But him and Josh Alexander, is that really the main event of your biggest pay-per-view of the year. Is that really the best you could have done? Did you really present Josh Alexander to me fine, but did you really present and build Eddie Edwards up to that point that it made sense for this match? Or, you know, did you really, we really don't have nothing. Okay, a couple weeks out, we'll just build this. Here you go, Honor No More, this and that. I mean, yeah, there was some of the long-term stuff there, but you know what this match hurt? When I'm watching this show, I didn't see that paper. I didn't see that promo where you see the feud, the build-up with the music, the rock music, and you get into it, you hyped up. You know, I didn't see none of that. They don't, that's the one thing that hurts too. They don't have that, you know, video production, you know, to really get you hyped up, that WWE and sometimes AEW, we see that they do as well. But I mean, again, back to this match, fantastic stuff. You saw Josh Alexander, you know, he kicked out of a lot of stuff. He's a fantastic wrestler. He got busted open. He was bleeding from the mouth and the nose. That was a great visual. The baby face fighting from behind, coming back all bloody. I mean, to me, that always looks good. Again, old school, it reminds me of, but I think the blood was, I don't think it was intentional.
No, I think it probably happened. Like, yeah, because he does wear the mouthpiece.
Yeah, so. But Eddie Edwards, he moved the padding on the floor. You know, he goes to, you know, pile drive him there. The ref, no, don't do it. Alexander fights back. They eventually get slammed on the floor and this and that. But, you know, Josh Alexander, you know, he retains here. Fantastic match. To me, he's one of those guys who, him, Moose, even a Willie Mack, you know, you have these guys, Cardona, Myers. You have some of these people who, you know, they have the name recognition, they have the size, the talent, Macklin. You know, I'm not going to name everybody, but you have these, you know, even though Cardona and Myers were WWE, they weren't really used worth a shit. So, you know, you could say, you know, unfortunately for them, but these guys could be built up to something special here in Impact. But then, you know, boom, you know, that isn't the case because we got to see, you know, Bully Ray. But before that, no, it's just Impact, you know, they have the pieces there. I think they could be a lot better than they present themselves, but unfortunately, it is what it is. After the match, of course, Honor No More has to get the heat. They come out there, start beating up Alexander. You see some baby faces come out, try to make the save, this and that, try to even the odds. Bully Ray comes out. You think, oh my God, is Bully Ray going to side with Honor No More? Because obviously he wants Josh Alexander. No, because Bully Ray's being babyface right now. Maybe they'll do babyface versus babyface, and Bully Ray will put him over. Hopefully that's what you do. That's the right thing to do.
Yes.
But, you know, he comes out. They have a stare down. Obviously, even if he is babyface, you know, Bully Ray's still Bully Ray, and I respect him for that because he's like saying, hey, you know, I want this title. Yeah, I helped you out, but why the fuck do you think I came back? I want the gold. You know, I won
and that's how you come back.
I won the Battle Royal.
That's why you come back.
So, I mean, it's good. And again, I won't shit on it too much, you know, and Bully Ray, respect them, whatever. I might disagree with, you know, but hey, we're all humans. We disagree. It's part of life. That don't mean you still can't respect somebody. But the thing is, he needs to put Josh Alexander over. But, you know, hey, that was Bound for Glory. I mean, if I had to give it a pass or a fail, I would give it a pass, you know, but I don't want to say just barely, but I give it a pass. I think they need to really improve the booking and just the promotion because, man, when it just killed me seeing the crowd and just how there was barely anybody there. It was more than their normal Impact tapings, but man, this is supposed to be your biggest show. It should have been at least, you know.
And you know, Paul, that they can even like build like, you know, like feel like, you know, big buildings, you know, venues. They can. It is as bad. It's like you said, it's not like it used to be. For sure, it's not like it used to be. They need to really work on their product, like you said. The booking needs to be more consistent. Eric Young also, like they're trying to like.
He was in the Battle Royal, done. Moose in the Battle Royal, done. I mean, again, when you have these talents, you know, man, really promote them, really use them, and I think, you know, the show would be a lot better for it, and your numbers would reflect that.
Absolutely. So family, thank you so very much for like, you know, being with us. Don't forget, we're going to have more content today, also more content tomorrow because it's going to be Extreme Rules. A lot of like the Fiend might come back. We're going to talk about this in another video. We're going to be talking about previews and predictions, you know, Paul and I, like what's going to happen. We're going to be talking about, hey, this might be, the Fiend might come back, what's going to happen in the main event, all of that. So be with us for that, and don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, and leave us a thumbs up, you know, comment. Let us know what you guys feel about this pay-per-view and where can they find us.
And there's a Rope Break on Facebook, OG Rope Break on Twitter, Original Rope Break on Instagram, Twitch, TikTok, and of course right here on YouTube, the home of the #1 podcast, the Original Rope Break.
So Paul, you and me have one more thing that is left to say, and that is